Oh, and that last mention that I was going to personally shoot the neighbor. You know, in all my dreams, I wish I had a Glock. Unfortunately, I was always very, I don't know if the word was disciplined, 92, 92 and above, 85, 85, you know. A little obsessed with the family, you know, that sort of thing. So, something burning here. Okay. And I just don't, so my friends, I'm keeping a little diary of updates in it. Friends, colleagues, ex-colleagues, unheard of Bigfoot, DOJ, CIA, FBI, their laptops, 4 years straight in Moscow, Turk, Saudi, you know, London, Rome, yeah. In other words, you know, 20 years of going back and forth to London to Woolwich, you know, the director of Scotland Yard being my psychiatrist in London, you know, so hearing, what's it? Listening ear, yes. But, you know, it's very interesting. I didn't know his name because I used to be one of their best in sciences and tech and aerospace. But I don't exist. Yeah. What's pretty... Excuse me. All right. So that asswipe piece of paper, Delphi, National ID, or the white it has. This is it begets me this question about the desolation of the emptiness around the 30 states and 80 countries with the white it has, you know, the white it has. Oh, you're getting it. Oh, what geniuses. Forever's and evers. Must be stupid time schools for me alone. Something burning. All right. Forever's and evers. All in the walls everywhere. What are they? Oh, the one with the cool of the furries. Oh. When those buildings empty in the Roma, too? I was going to say churches. Crazy girl laughing at her own death. A genetic graft of that girl. All right. Right. This is old news on BBC and Channel 4. Very old news because Yasmin was there in St. George's. We were preparing for the fall. Whether it's the US or London or Russia or Saudi or the UN or South Korea or all the other places, my sorry ass connected to Dotson. In 8 countries and 30 states. Baby. Speaking about the baby, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have a Glock anymore. I don't have a uniform. Therefore, I can't shoot the neighbor. I wouldn't have shot before because she wouldn't have bothered me. Her level of intelligence is so heightened. I said George's. Having said that, yeah. And so that's why they call me the Men in Black child. And I said that I don't know why everybody have these white hairs. Everywhere. Whether it's the US or London or Rome or the other countries around the world. And why is it that my eyebrows are thick? Variants? I don't know. I think it's the opposite. What they're saying is it was done properly. Not because of my death, but done properly in the sense that you're going to get forevers and evers, your stupid times, what you deserve. Which is completely separate from unheard of Bigfoot family. Multiverse, DOJ. Explain why. In other words, when intelligence dies, I can feel it. They kill more intel. You see, people are like that. They're like, they can't discipline themselves. When I was in Wales, when I was 15, at the beginning it was just like half year, 1 year. When you're 15, you know, good Lord, going at the age of 15 to Woolwich. Now, 92, 92, 85, 85, with the Glock wasn't a problem. Nowadays, it's like, you know. So I spent a little more time there, but I was in Swansea, I was in London, whatever. And Ryan Davis and Adrian Walsh. Marion Williams. Oh, now, I like Marion. You don't get it a lot, and she knows that. She knows. They know me inside out. You don't even need to bother. So, literally. So Marion Williams, sweetest girl I know. Now, I have to say something here. When you're 15 years old and you go to university or college or whatever, and obviously it's for free because you're always sponsored, even if you're a fucking vegetable. Oh my God. So you have, you see, I was obsessed about the parents in St. George's already because I had heightened income. St. George's had the corporations, yeah? The girl who broke the records and splits and sites, corporations, St. George's, I was focusing on the corporations because, well, it was going to be, Orient freak it egg, you fucking hermaphrodite whore, you cheat whore, you don't deserve to be alive, you're already dead, so therefore you should be dead again as a go show yourself with the Delft National ID Pesel. That's Poland, and that's Fresno Cantador. Now, why Poland, I already explained to you. Because on Crawley's, Mama was taking out, okay, of Fresno and put to Warsaw because she has a Polish passport. She's half Russian, half Polish. They took her. That was not direct. You already know the story. I beat her in long jump, fair and square, Mrs. Green. Everybody says that. She's safe home. Now, direct is obvious because we beat direct. We beat the rule of law in Intel, which means she's safe. I haven't seen her for 4, 5 years, 6 years, and everyone knows that. Now, this is only Kindergarten Global. At 85, the big guys, the internationals, were in Warsaw, and I could sense it because I was running. Now, when I went back to the US, the intel was work in the US. You see, my intelligence is not famous in Poland. My intelligence is famous in the US, in the UN, Russia, Turk, Saudi, UN, in stupid times, in London, in the US, around the world. It's not famous in Poland. Even if my mom is half Polish. So, yeah, they have land in the eastern part of Poland. And yeah, the brother of the mother is the director of the, I think it was Sciences and Agriculture. He was the director at Warsaw University for like 50 years. For an entire department at Warsaw University. He's retired, and he's older than the mom. So, that Polish guy, who was throwing the gold at me in Gdańsk when I was a little kid, you're worth every fucking gold penny. What you did, you're something else. You don't exist. You don't even know. And I'm looking at him, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm dead. So, I am not going to motherfucking, come to Poland and have this kind of treatment just because some bitch got jealous. Or some bitch got more jealous. And they know that they're goddamn motherfucking wrong in Poland with the rule of law. They know it in Rome. They know it in the UN. They know it in London. They know it in Russia. They know it in the European Union. They know it in Italy. They know it in DC about unheard of big bit. They're defending the parents. If you get the mother out of Fresno when I'm crawling, and you put her, when I have that dead emptiness and desolation already after St. George's, and you put her to Poland, and she's half Russian, you know where it's going. Why didn't you show her to the family? You see, you have to start seeing that this is not a power game. That this is not what you think it is. It's bitchiness. And it's not even bitchiness from the inside. It's bitchiness. It's bitchiness because once she's in Poland, they could have showed her to me. If somebody got her to Moscow. And then they got in trouble with the rule of law direct. That I beat in long jump. and Kindergarten Global as an angel of myself? Fair and square, Mrs. Green, it means that the intelligence saved her from the rule of law. That's what it means for the retarded people of the planet. And that's all I know as an angel of myself. Now, how they knew? They knew because the internationals were on the laptops in Warsaw International, helping the family. Look, Poland says it doesn't do business with the Chinese. The first importer and exporter in the world with China is Russia. The second one is Poland. And they say they're so intelligent. They were the most intelligent people on the planet, the Polish. They've had Polexit. They've had Article 7. They've had Brussels suing them out of the European Union for 7 years. They think that if they elect Donald Tusk, it's going to change. It's a little bit more complicated than that. People are sitting there and waiting for payouts from the government, from the PiS government. All the money that came to Poland, they're in debt to the European Union and not vice versa. The fact that the second biggest importer and exporter in the world to China is Poland gives it out immediately. The fact that the Saudis came to Poland and they're paying 4 times the amount of gas price to Saudi Arabia, Poland of all countries, tells me everything. All you have to do is switch on the news. The news, the BBC, anything. This is not intel. This is kid shit. And the fact that they're showing it, the part that we don't like, okay, is that the parents are multiverse. They're directorates in Washington, D.C. They're directorates in the United Nations. And where they come from, the CIA is defending them. The Russians are on laptops. The Turks, the Saudis, the others. Same with Woolwich by extension for 20 years. I mean, look at it this way. You have 9292 running. Yeah? Flyings, runnings many times. Perfect. I do the work. The parents. Okay. 85, you already see it. Yasmin was already in St. George's and Woolwich. I didn't talk to her. You think I wanted to die? No. You think my intel wanted to die with that piece of paper? No. You wanted me to have a desolation around the world? Now you have Ubers. Now you have James Bonds forever and ever. And you have emptier buildings worldwide. Why? Why did they accept this paper of Delphi's in 30 states and 80 countries with the wider eyebrows? Why? Whether I work there or I visit there. Why? Because they know. So it's not a question of, yeah, I brought space there because of this. You lost it with that. Okay, paper. My paper. That is mine. You're confusing the parents with me. That's how shallow you are. I'm shallow. I'm shallow because I'm dead. But I'm not shallow because I'm stupid. And I'm not shallow because I'm a bitch. And I'm shallow because I'm jealous. You think I'm jealous that 20 years they were shooting my ass in Fresno Cancer down? Huh? Jealous that my intelligence died and I got James Bonds everywhere in the world in those buildings? With emptier buildings worldwide forever and ever? And the wider eyebrows? I'm jealous of that. I'm jealous of myself. You are mentally retarded bitches, all in the wall bitches. You can't even get kindergarten. Where's worldwide, the global, in stupid times. All over the world it's famous and in details. And you're still going to be yapping, whether it's there or there or there. That's gossip. That's malicious intent gossip. That's not even intel. That's no ID, Delph, on a wheelchair. Whether it has brothers or not. It's none of your business. What is important is that intelligence is dead and that 30 states and 80 countries have the white hairs, and why is the intelligence dead? And why are they agreeing with the emptiness, with the desolation, with the retarded mongoloid for evers and evers? That's the question that you bitches should ask yourself. If you can do that. Because if you can't do that, what I did, then you know what I would do with the doves? I would shut up. And I would keep your tits away from me. And your violence away from me. Because I have seen violence and I was doing a job which is known around the world. While your job is to fling your tits and ass in my face. And I don't like it. Because it's not a question that it makes no sense. That's just bitch. The gossip is included. Because it's malicious. If you don't know the world of the CIA, and you don't know the FSB, and you don't know the Willachers, and you don't know the 80 countries and 30 states I connected the dots in stupid time as a ghost of myself with the Dove Pistol, then you have to shut up. For me alone. I've never attacked anybody. But if you push me, the intelligence, you see, intelligence kills. When it sees something not normal. Not normal jealousy. Not normal behaviors. They will kill people too. You're the least problem for the intel community's people. But if you start behaving that way in masses, no wonder the intel community is doing what it's doing to you. It's subjugating you. You don't need a baby to tell you that. Now, why is it? Why? How is it that a ghost of a great intelligence, when I say the word great intelligence in this house, that lady reacts in her room, in her apartment. They can't hear it. It's almost like living in Fresno Cantidal. And I don't know why. You see, everyone has their own history and their own life experiences. Okay? Their own history, their own lives in the world, their own fame or non-fame, who gives a shit? Or their own anonymous or their own non-anonymous. I have nothing against people. Try and understand. But I'm starting to see things that they were telling me when I was a little kid. Don't listen to people. Why? Now I know why. They cannot listen to the ghost in me. They can't. Even that. They can't. Me, my intel, my paper, this. They can't listen to that. So we decided that in the case of this world, ages ago, and St. George's, we could see where the intelligence was going in the various countries and stuff like that, that this was going to happen to me. All right? Now, I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want the death and becoming Indios. But the emptinesses will continue forever and ever. If you can come up with a shiny star with Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson and all the sciences in St. George's, only St. George's for me, then do it in stupid time schools. If you can't, zip, and zip. Because whatever they transported in 30 states in the US and 80 countries around the world, they can transport here. In Poland, in Little Lubsko. They can do what they want when you understand that. In other words, if you want to be this is what you want to be. I. This is what you want. This is what you want. This is exactly why the government does what it does. Whether it's in Germany, whether it's in Poland, whether it's in Russia, whether it's in Britain, whether it's in the US, whether it's in the UN, whether it's in their countries. That's how Intel operates. It sees people who do not know how to control even the most basic emotions. If somebody tells you the story, and you've seen it around the world many times, you've seen the flyings 92 many times, you've seen the flyings and the runnings 85 many times, and now you see this baby. And that's only 2 high schools in the UN, stupid times. For me. And you see that through the death of my Intel and the others in agreement with me, that I was that star on BBC Channel 4, dead. And that's all news. That the desolation is getting worse and worse and worse and worse around all those countries in the US. And Europe. And London and Rome. Forevers and evers. Hobbits. Your brain doesn't see intelligence. It doesn't see what the cost of the intelligence with the death was. Because path of desolation is me when it died. And I don't change it. Because if I am a Delft national ID Indians, I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to change the white head all over. You want to do it? Then do it. But don't say to me, I'm better, I'm better, Harvard, oh no, Woolwich, oh, because, Madonna mia, even the little babies on the planet can see this shit. And that's only for the piece of paper. That's not adding on top of that unheard of Bigfoot, parents, multiverse directorates. Check. I didn't make a fuss about it. No. For 20 years I go to London, the Woolwich, the East Coast, the West, Rome, other countries, blah, blah, blah. Obsessed and little baby as an Indios. Afraid for me. Because I knew I died. And I didn't know how to fix it. I knew I was an angel. I knew I had that piece of paper. There, I'll swipe. There, I'll swipe. Emptiness, desolation, death of the Intel. That was my Intel. That's what you're jealous about. You can't handle even my ghost. Of course, I was obsessing more about the father and the mother because the father and the mother is the father and the mother. What is this? I don't understand you. This has gone all over the world. Yeah. They call me the actress, Shakespeare is an actor. The triads don't have high school, everything is shit, whatever. And yeah, a list of things, But if... You see, the father and the mother are not going to come back to you. They're multiverse. Understand? Once my number is erased, this baby is erased, you're going to remain with the desolation. And then moving on. That's it. And no amount of bitchiness and whores and I went to Harvard, I went bitch, whore. It's going to change that. You don't need a baby. Kindergarten will behind us. Space goes dead with desolation around the world. To tell you that. Am I making myself clear here? Am I making myself clear here for Kindergarten Global Indios? People out there. And it's none of your business if I have bones. They're taken by the sea. I was taken by the sea. in some shape or form. Except they put me out there with the culo de faris in the UN schools, with the white hairs and the 80 fingers. Nobody is going to be apologizing to you for your misbehaviors. Nobody is going to be apologizing for such freakouts for the parents. And nobody is going to be apologizing to you for a girl whose great intelligence, yes, died in 2 high schools in the UN. That's old news. You see, they're showing things. They're showing a lot of things in the intel communities around the world. The intel communities. But they're also showing things in the military, and they're also showing things with the peoples, and they're also showing things to babies. And quite frankly, I now know. I finally realized what this is. I have realized why somebody who doesn't exist anymore, intelligence, left so much emptiness when she died. Me. And it hurts you to hear, St. George's. It hurts, doesn't it? Well, that's the end, y'all, Spain. That's not unheard of. Bigfoot DOJ, Multiverse Directorate, Special Services, Relief Operations, Parents' Pains for me. You are not a question that you're not trained or you're not educated, you didn't go to college. You're just bitches. And you are non-thinking bitches. I will tell you one thing. When I was in the United States, I'm not speaking about St. George's with the Glock running like crazy. I went to the army and stuff quickly. That was quicker, of course, because I was running back and forth. That was the corporations. Do you think then I went to the army that I would be bragging about the corporations and the men in black child to them with the Glock? Or in the labyrinth? Just asking a mentally retarded questions in 80 countries and 30 states. Because they judge us with a Glock. Me. Does anyone understand this or not? I mean, are we into a mentally retarded state of affairs here in Loopscore or anywhere? This is jealousy. Now, you see, I understand that civilian people don't like to hear this shit. And bitches and hags and quite frankly, I don't care. I'm just saying. They made this shit famous. I didn't make this famous. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I didn't make this famous. I didn't like it. I was so happy when I was anonymous. Not this. Yeah, genetic graft of yourself, baby. You're... So, in 80 countries and 30 states, they already made their point about the number alone. Now, so you floor your own ass. Floor grass your own ass. Because if that's the effect of the death of my intel in 80 countries and 30 states with that shit, you fucked. You fucked with me and my brothers. Forever and ever. Because that shit is just going to get more Tesla and whiter. With that shit. They made a conscious decision. The intelligence communities that when that crashed, that girl, or those people who worked with her, that was going to happen. Why? How do I know? I'm dead. Of course I know, and everyone knows. Not everyone. I mean, anyway, let's not go into the details with that one. What's past is past and can't be changed. We're talking about unheard of Bigfoot since 92 flags. 85. Runnings of flies, whatever. In Tato, we already see the fucking Yasmin on 85. Don't fuck with me. What the fuck is this Crowley about? To Roland. Near the end. Don't Start with me. Fresno County et al. Fresno County et al. Mentally retarded horse. I have never seen. And now we'll ask about Gabba with the white eyebrows for Georgetown, Said with the thick eyebrows just for Woolwich by extension. You want to know from Gabba the answer for Georgetown? They went straight to Fresno. They're not mentally retarded like you, bitch. You see, you didn't do it! And if you didn't do it, then shut your ass. Shut your ass. If you didn't do it, if you didn't die doing that, and you didn't come back as a phoenix of yourself, what has in 80 countries and 30 states, with desolation because you died, me, then shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. And don't start with me with the fucking pesel, the merda, national ID Delft. Because I will kill your ass on a wheelchair. All right. Just for the number. Forevers and evers. You are so stupid that kindergarten figured it out. In fact, you know what they're saying? They're saying, calm down, baby. Yeah, you're just a little baby with white hairs. We know. And we know about those freak schools and we know about the bum-bums and bears and we know the Lord of the Rings Hobbit. We know about the devils. That's in 80 countries and 30 states with kindergarten? Telling me this shit? Oh, madame, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. Again, just for the number, mademoiselles. You want to do it? Go ahead. Desolation. That's not what we're talking about. We can't change that. We can't change that if you pay it. We can't change that. We can't change that. The paper. That piece of paper. Those devils. This cannot be changed anymore. It's gone. It's that. It's the Tasmanian devils. It's whatever you call it. It's emptiness. It's desolation. Because it died. That's called jealousy in the world. That's what, when I was, I can't believe it. I cannot believe that this became famous from anonymous, to know. All right. Now then. This is not important. Okay, for the entire communities. They're talking about an Erdebik but DOJ. How? CIA. DOJ. Central. Headquarters. As defending the father-in-law. And look what's happening because of Fresno County. And you could see it in St. George's. You could see me dying and you could see the possibility of what was going to happen to the parents. And you could see what was going to happen already. Because Poland has the Pole exit, Article 7. No, that's not it. They used it to screw the Polish. To my mama from Poland to Russia. And you blaming me for that? With Grabsky. On a wheelchair. After 4 years of traveling the world on the 4th year. All right. Now, you want to know why the intelligence communities bump off psychopaths like Grabsky. You want to know why a little baby like me has influence. Because that girl died and left desolation all over the world. And I am the genetic grafted Tasmanian devil replacement of that girl. And genetic Graph City and Hokisat, I am what they call the Indiost baby. The ghost of that girl. With a national ID that called me and calls me Delph. And if you know what a Delph is, we know that Delph is intelligence. If you think I'm intelligent, or at least the intelligence I used to be before, then you're out of your mind. That was dealt with before. This is the most simple, straightforward, famous shit on the planet. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. It doesn't take Harvard to figure it out. It takes the children of the planet to see, okay, that one's gone and she's dead and there's desolation and it's going to be forever. That's it. That's me. And it's going to get worse with time. Why? Because it's it. And because it was accepted. Accepted by 30 states and 80 countries. Just for the bag. And it's not a bag, it's an ID. Yeah? You call it a bag because something is in the bag, but is it? This. But they already had the bag. They're varianting it. Look. Now, the fact that we have Amrit, all right, Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, with Dr. Laws and Mulling of Time, and they're saying, you are going to have the American Pie. Bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Because you died, and we know who did it. So when I'm 10 years old, I already know. And they're saying there's going to be more desolation at the age of 10. Because my intelligence died. Yeah, mine. That was the greatness. That was the BBC. That was the Channel 4 at the age of 15 till today, saying to me, you did some space rockets and that, and it died. And you're an ass white piece of paper. That's all news in Channel 4 and other channels. It's all over the world. It doesn't matter whether you go to the UN. It doesn't matter if you go to London or Russia or anywhere in the world. That PESEL, which you call PESEL, that Social Security, that national ID is still, it's gone. It's an ass wipe. It has those white eyebrows. New bitch is going to have Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Elon Musk, and all those others with the white eyebrows in the UN basements. Or Woolwich or any parts of the world. That's all news. For me. We call it megalomania. We call it intelligence. To each his own bag. Now I can use the bag. To each his own baggie. You bitchy. Here you have your potatoes. Because I'm a potato head. Come near me again. And I'm going to call my friends and get your ass fucking trashed. I don't give a shit who you are. And I don't give a shit for your fucking jealousy. You cannot look at the desolation left behind by the death of one bitch, your potato head, or the Social Security identification of Delph, national ID. You can't do that. Do you know what they call that in Fresno County, or Poland? Recently with those Ukrainians and Grabsky and stuff and all the rest. Very recently on Crawley's. Jealousy. The unfortunate part is that since I was 5 years old, they've been calling it personal jealousy in 80 countries and 30 states, the professionals and the fucking homeless. In other words, from the top to the bottom. For me? I'm like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Why is it that there is a negative reaction from some people? Is it because of their personal character? Or is it because of their personal background? Or is it because they're just bitches? For fun. And no, not for fun grab or. No. I'll tell you one thing. The fun is the desolation getting more desolate with the bag. Me. Box theory girl. That's why you want me dead, don't you? When intelligence dies, it can forever and evers keep amplifying things. That's me. The reason I still have the eyebrows is because somebody had the intel, the share. But they ain't gonna reopen the buildings for you because the bitch is dead. Me. And that's what we call the bag without a Glock and a uniform. So, you're such bitches. You will not get back the intelligence. Because once it dies, and it's an Indios, it's going to stay emptier with those buildings worldwide. And that's what kindergarten, shall I say, well, why is a global knew already with Yasmin. That's only the back. That's the potato head. Me. Forever the numbers. I do not know the James Bond brothers around the world in those buildings. Neither do the parents. From a distance. That's called taken by the sea. Empty. If you understand, you understand. If you don't, I don't give a shit. I try to give it to kindergarten global. Worldwide to global. If you didn't understand that shit, which is the most basic shit on the planet at the age of 15 even, and going to Woolwich at 15, 16, if you didn't get that shit, I ain't gonna fucking help you. And see the times? No, hell no I ain't. Now, for 9/11. Considering the Andrew Dixon Smith at 9/11, I have a lot of 9/11s in my life. First, there was the 9/11 for the number. Then there was, then there was the Angels 9/11. There was the 9/11 for the corporations. There was the 9/11 for the intel work. There was the 9/11 work abroad and within the U.S. on the coastlines and other places. There was the internal problem. So there was a lot of 9/11s for me. Then there was 9/11 for the parents. Unheard of Bigfoot. Unheard of Bigfoot. I didn't do 9/11. I just knew about it. I was an insider. So, you see, this is another problem that has, you see, everyone knows what the Delft number did, or at least knows in part, okay? It's not important even, because if it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist as Intel, or what it was. It could even be Intel, very intelligent, but it's not what it was before. Indios. Forever and ever, yeah? Empty buildings worldwide. Right. You see, when you kill intelligence of that kind, and I kept saying that, keep it anonymous. Shit. No, it's not. Shit. I know it was coming. So, when that happens, then that's happening. Now, because you can't change that, and that's just how it is in the world of the Delphies, and I have the Delft National ID, you better shut your ass up, because how the fuck am I going to know what the fuck those guys are going to be doing with the intel? Like, in details. Like, I'm going to remember. No. That's the back. That's not unheard of Bigfoot parents. DOJ. So, you see, it's not that I want to be a bitch here. You see, I'm just stating the fact that are going like nuts all over the world. Because if you keep flying that many times, 92, 92 and above, people can shut the fuck up. In the central of the CIA, DOJ. I don't like using the word cases, but about that. And the same abroad and London, by extension, Woolwich. So they're saying to you, whether it's Rome or London or the other countries, or the US, whatever, shut your ass. Just shut your ass. Do something productive. Do something good. What's the problem that even the homeless, the real homeless, try to help me when I was crawling out? I ain't speaking about the hidden agents. Gosh. I'm speaking about the real homeless from Fresno, Canada. But there's others who think that The lazy. Oh, I'm going to snap and something's going to happen. Now, not that I'm going to shoot the neighbor, unfortunately, because in all the dreams that you would like to get rid of all these whores and ags and all this shit, you can't. You see? If intelligence could, it would just wipe the fucking population off the face of the planet with that shit and the gossip. Because painful already as it is. It's painful. But no, they don't get it. They're too intelligent. Now, why did they make a ghost out of me? I don't know. Why did they extend that piece of paper? Genetic Graph City. I don't know. That's not unheard of Bigfoot parents. You see, the gossip and the evil in people is so big and so pronounced that even if you explain to them the bets, even if you explain to them what children in kindergarten global Indios ghost of a self know, they'll get offended. Imagine if I had to tell them what I did on St. George's 85. Imagine if I had to tell them what I did on 92 and above and Spacers. Before the corporations in St. George's. Men in Black child. And that's not even mentioning unheard of Bigfoot parents multiverse. And their jobs are special services directorates. And DC and the UN, you know, why they gave the national ID delve to a baby girl who became Legoland at the age of 5 beats me. And why they made an angels out of her, and why there was emptiness because of the death of that one bitch, which is me, supposedly. I don't know, quite frankly. And because what's lost is lost. I just say it. Angels is lost. And as intelligent as it can be, as James Bondy, as it can become, the brothers, it ain't gonna fucking reopen anything. It's gonna fucking it's gonna make it more empty. All those buildings that were already dead when St. George's was dead, they're gonna be more empty around the world. And the bros and me are just gonna make it emptier with the wider eyebrows. Are we going to kindergarten? Well, why are we going to kindergarten global with this shit? For stupid times. Up to you. So, I'm just saying, I'm not a saint. I've been put up with this shit for so long and for so many blinds. That's all. Many blinds around. That's all. Many. What? You wrote it. So there's some bitch ass out there can give me their fucking personal opinion about Fresno County at all. No, am I here to please the gossip of some local bitch or some old hag who's sitting there and saying, she's a terrorist. I wish I was a terrorist. Because if I was a terrorist, if I had been... Excuse me. If I had been a vigilante, as Heine Stettel von Heinel, who is the son of Hell's Angels, who was born in Fresno, I would have been for Crowley's. I would have been very, very happy. Unfortunately, I'm not a vigilante. I would love to be in Fresno County though. Now we have, I bet 50 funerals for those bitches. Lester Walt and our puppy dicks who bought our house. That's a black one. Our local crazy police, the local shit. Fresno County is famous for what it is. Norman, Oklahoma. April 25th, 1984. Worst county in the U.S., Fresno, California. All right. is, Fresno has been the most, Fresno Council, anti-science rep. We got the worst cancer anyways, the worst pollution, the worst radioactivity, the water's purple. Everything's radioactive. It was a drought, like Norman, Oklahoma. Now they have some water, which is good for the Central Valley, I have to say. Because not all of them are shits, the farmers. I have nothing against the farmers. Trust me. No, it's something else I have a problem with in Fresno County. And one thing about locally, for the parents on how to pay. Now, Fresno County, Tom and Jerry Diet House, for instance. The South Koreans and the Japanese community of Fresno left. They made a stick statue, huge stick statue of the asshole, with a pea-sized brain as a present for Tom and Jerry Diet House, the local police sheriff, who became mayor, by the way. About a week later, the entire community on CNN of South Korea and Japan left Fresno County. Now, if I got a present like that from the Japanese and the South Koreans, I would have left town, not become the mayor of that town. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I don't give a shit about the emptier buildings. Worldwide or in the U.S. for that bitch. Records are not records. We're so fucking... what the fuck? Was that internal shit about... oh, one day and one night. Alright. Well, what can you do? We can't change that. The bitch is dead, and we got variants and replicas all over us. Who gives a shit? We got the Gentex, we got theirs. What is this? A war of variants. Oh, it was a share. Oh, yes. Alright, those. Drop it. Drop the bag. Yeah, plank. Waiter here's in 30 states and 80 countries worldwide. Oh, yeah. Bella Caroli. That too. China Miller. A little needle in the vagina. Margaret. What? Hold on. I said, listen, hold on for what? I'm fucking dead. Hey, Belly does. I'm saying to me, listen, girls, I used to be like, on nights two, I used to be like, 85, I used to be like, ow, I used to do sports, for health. Nowadays, as a baby, I only do 8 hours a day for 10 years. Because I do sports simply for the 2 ankle twists on middle beam, the Volvo and Amber, and the left knee ligament on the floor in northern Italy. Yeah. Now, this is a very short period of time. 2 high schools and stupid times will have chosen day one for me. That's all I had. Stupid times, 2 high schools. We did so much fucking damage with that Delft Stats and those groups that you have no fucking clue. And by the time the assholes figure out what it is, I'll be long dead. That's it. I'll have variants of me and a little baby and yours. Oh no, what the fuck is that? Don't ask brothers out there around the world for those buildings. I've seen all that shit. That's what they did. Motherfuckers that. Are they nuts? Are they stupid? Forever and ever? Oh shit! So, that's why George had 1 day and 1 night paints for the cheap whore Indios that didn't marry him, connecting the dots. That's not 4 days and 4 nights. For the parents, 4 days and 4 nights for Pa, and 4 days and 4 nights for Ma. A paints. For the Morganches and 4 states. I don't think the Ma intelligence married them up. No. No. You see, in soup times, I didn't even have a decent husband. I couldn't afford to have a decent husband because I was running. Now I'm running on the Greyhound. These bitches figure it out. So when you start talking to me about hate, and when you start talking to me about intelligence, and when you start talking to me about jealousies and personal jealousies and all that shit and power struggles and race and religion and stuff like that, I freak out. Why? Let me explain it to the people in Lubsko or Poland or where the fuck they are, Fresno Council Town. Because Poland is very recent on Growlers, yeah? The Polish girls who were in London did not have much of what we would call respect, or the boys. They're very intelligent, yes. But you see, if I kill any of those Polish in Woolwich, they will not emptify. Caca! When they die. But that's just forevers and evers, you know, bums. We're talking about multiverse unheard of Bigfoot parents since 92, 92, and 85, 85. Not except for 85, 85 because we already see it. So, get the guys go now. What are we doing? I'm just saying it for what it is. I have nothing to hide. Hide what? 20 years of shootouts in Fresno with a tree trying to wipe my ass without a high school education? For a baby? I wonder what the Phoenix had to say. I'm just saying, you're dealing with the Delphis, all right? And I have the Delphi number, a national ID, and I don't exist. I'm not exactly me, am I? I look like me, but I'm an angel. I'm a baby. How come? And no, I don't have a bra on. It hangs. You know, my tits are hanging, like in Brazil. Brazil, huh? So when you have cats and dogs running in circles around the US and in London and in other countries, I'm starting to wonder, is that a migratory pattern? Is that zootropia? You're going to have emptiness forever and ever because of me, my death. And this thing about the variants that I tried to hide for a very long time, those boys or girls or whatever they are, it's Kaka, Cabana, it, island. Oh yeah, I'll get it. Thanks. Hawaii. All that shit, guys, Heinies and all. I got one thing to say to you. And by the way, before you start criticizing Heine, he was the boxing champion of the state of California for Stockton State. The unfortunate part for Stittel Silver Heine, aka Heine by now, was that he was born in Fresno. Yes. Any other questions? Mentally retarded questions? Just ask. Anyone would call me an Asian bitch for the triads? Huh? Anyone say to me again that I'm a bitch because I stayed for 6 years with Chris? Anybody? And Fresno Council Town? I'm just asking. What about that ring in the safety deposit box? Protect the family. What the fuck was that? And he scurried out. Any other questions? Any questions? Any bitchiness? Hey, I already died once. So badly that I came back as a baby. Phoenix. So when you're making fun of this shit, alright? Because you're better in Harvard, and you amplified that shit with your death, which is my story ass. Forever's and evers. And when you been to 80 countries and 30 states, and everyone is telling you that you're a mongoloid and please plank, and most importantly, amplify those buildings around the world even more with your I don't have a blog. I got hedonism. I got sweets. I got candy. And I even get to shit properly on the toilet. Like most people. Instead of always running. Lives are running. Wonderful. I do run still. Having said that, yeah. Oh, my God. So, I'm just saying, when people start being assholes, and they start judging things by jumping to conclusions and by yapping, that's called malicious gossip. That's called bad intent. In fact, it's called bad intent, because if Kindergarten Global understands this shit around the world already, about the peso, or the social security number, then you in other words, it starts becoming it's not a question anymore of intel. No. It's a question of bitchiness and jealousy and everything else, which that's what they were saying for a long time. So the basics that we're trying to convey through the baby that has her ass out so far from the intelligence community is that nowadays you need to have tunnels out, FBI, the CIA, Woolwich, FSB, Saudi, Egypt, the UN, tunnels, like back tunnel. I go in and I go out with the shit. Before you straight for the barracks. Now, I'm only the messenger. I'm what they call the Madagascar baby, the Tasmanian devil, the Gatwick Airport cement truck hole on the face, people's only. Island box, theory, God. Watch it, they say, and others. Right? So when they speak about phoenixes, I wouldn't be so happy about it. So what's lost and has been lost since St. George's, and you could see it coming and you couldn't give a shit to me, will be lost with the desolation that the intelligence community creates in all those countries. With me. Eyebrows! Or lack thereof. Now, I don't know why I have the eyebrows still attacked. Do you? Anyone? We're dealing with mental retards, aren't we? And bitches. And love go bowling or anywhere. We're dealing with hate and jealousies of people who don't want to think. Just like the cancers are. Or maybe we're just dealing with gossiping old hags who hate my ass because I'm foreign. Or maybe they believe that they can change the world themselves because they got their asses out there and did something. Not. You see, Harvard, Woolwich, the CIA, the FSB, the Asians, the UN agencies, the corporations in St. George's, they know about my sorry ass. It's true. But it's empty. Shall we talk again about this main truck in London? You know, sometimes I think I should take a volume, you know? And I beg people for volume. I tell you this shit. When I was in Rome, and I'm not forgetting, when I was in Rome in the year 1999, 2000, they give me like, I'm not fucking 10 jobs in the UN. Like, what? I ain't St. George's, I ain't 9292, no. They're like, we're going. You're going to Africa, you're going to Asia, you're going to South America. This is, you're going to get a job. I got 10 contracts. FAO, WFP, but they were just throwing the contract. You know what I did? I did the Villa Eden Italians. I closed myself in the room and I went on hunger strike. And I said, I want Pa and Ma out of Fresno. The first 2 years of retirement out in Rome. I said, I ain't moving. They said, come on. You can have a career in the UN. I said, what career? What the fuck are you talking about? What? What am I going to do? Change the world? And ask for exercise? Or military? Well, the father and mother who are directorates of special services, relief, and heard of multiverse. You think it's Tivertown schools? I'm going to give a shit about going and having a career in that. I made such a fuss to keep the father and the mother in Rome for retirement. You have no fucking clue how many times the baby has been barking about Fresno Council Doll around the world. And that's only on Crowley's. No, you don't believe me. You do. You don't believe me. You don't believe Scott Glenn Man on Fire. Where did they go? You see, sometimes you get weird when you hang out with Intel when you're not Intel. That's me. I'm highly intelligent. Might even come up with a bomb. Or cancer. Or photo space records. And corporations of St. George's. Men in Black. Oops. Excuse me. Ragdoll. Oh, yeah. I'm your ragdoll. Russian Turks outing. UN, Woolwich, and of course, the Delft National ID. One day and one night in St. Pains for Georgia Towers in Tubman. Of course, 4 days and 4 nights for the pie, and 4 days and 4 nights for the man. Pains for George is not internal. And from what I gather, it might become 5 days and 5 nights of Pains for George. Goodbye, bitches.